think I'm gonna make a series called Camera Therapy. As many of you have heard, if you've watched some of my videos, photography, video, shooting these videos for YouTube is a very therapeutic thing for me. And I'm gonna try an experiment right now that I've been inspired by recently. And that is to do something one single take. So I hope you'll stick with this video. It's going to be a little bit extemporaneous, and no matter what, this is my first take, no matter what, I'm going to let the camera roll, and it's going to roll until the end, and that's that. There's got two things going on. Number one, I've been inspired to do this form of video more often, just sort of sharing thoughts with you. I've been inspired by a couple of different people. They couldn't be any more opposite. One of them is Kyle Cease, and if you've ever watched his videos, you'd know how incredibly entertaining and also just how amazingly spiritual and inspiring he is. He's a comedian and spiritual teacher, and I highly recommend you checking out his channel.
Why are we so scared of everything? What the hell is wrong? What is wrong? Who can think of a scared thought right now? Raise your hand if you have a scared thought right now. Just anything. What if I don't? Even if it's about later this week or this year. Raise your hand if you have that. Isn't that weird? What a delusion we're in. You know, people always go, that's great, Kyle, but what about the real world? Where I go back home and spend 99% of my day fantasizing about everything that could go wrong. The real world.
And another one, I'll tell you about the other one in just a second. First of all, Kyle, he has this amazing way, and improv from all those years of comedy, it's obvious that the guy's really great at improvisation. But he has this thing that he does just about every day. He may just be waking up out of bed or coming out of meditation or whatever, and he'll just put his phone up, crappy quality, and just deliver a message.
You are so important. Do you realize what you're capable of?
But the cool thing about his messages is a lot of them he starts off with saying, I have no earthly idea what I'm getting ready to say. And even as I'm saying, I don't know what I'm going to say, I'm thinking to myself, what are they thinking of me? And what am I even thinking of myself about not having something to say? And next thing you know, that unfolds into this really profound thing that he says. And what's so compelling and endearing about it is that the guy is just so authentic. So that's something that I really strive for in these YouTube videos. But at the same time, I'm such a recovering perfectionist that so many times in the past, I've been inhibited in delivering more consistent messages because I just want to get them perfect, you know, and I'll do take after take after take and get so wrapped up and stressed out that it sort of takes the joy out of it. Well, there's a second influencer too, and that is a guy named Casey, this funny Canadian, mid-30s Canadian guy. And that channel is Camera Conspiracies, and he also has a channel called The Vegetable Police, and it's the Camera Conspiracies channel is growing like wildfire, and I highly recommend you check that out too. But once again, he has this really extemporaneous, very, very authentic, bizarre quality about him that is so endearing.
Oh, blurry backgrounds. We lust after her. She ignores us. I've lusted after the blurry background myself. I became obsessed with it. Once I saw it, I first saw it, someone in the forest talking to the camera, and the background trees were all blurry. I was like, holy shit, I need that in my life.
Now I'm going to morph that into something in regards to a couple camera purchases that I'm getting ready to make. And I promise this will come full circle. So I just made a big decision, and I decided to sell my my Leica Q. And some of you may be visiting here having found out about me because of the Leica Q. I've done a lot of videos on that, street photography with a Leica Q, shooting video with a Leica Q and whatnot. I was first turned on to the Leica scene by several years back. I did a workshop in New York with Thorsten Overgaard, and I admire his work so much. And so the Q was my first Leica. Incredible street camera, loved it, but it's just sort of it's played out for me, and I'm really interested in replacing it with a camera that does what I need to do in regards to video. So the money that I get from that I've already gotten from the Q, I sold that, and I sold several lenses, some other camera gear on eBay, and got a really came out well on it. It's pretty amazing how well the Leica held its value. So from that money, I'm going to be investing in a new camera, more video-centric camera. The thing is, okay, so those of you that are visiting here that are camera gearheads are going to get this to a certain degree. Those of you that are here because you know of me for other reasons are going to go, what the hell is this guy talking about? He is a truly obsessive weirdo. But if that's the case, if you're here from outside the camera and gear and tech universe, then I'd just encourage you to see if there are other areas of your life that maybe you do the same thing in terms of obsessing on, and this theme that I want to talk to you about unless I get something perfect, I can't do it. So the video that I'm shooting right now is being shot on my Sony a7R3, and it's being shot, by the way, with Sony's 28 f2 lens, good all around lens. I've got a Rode shotgun mic on the side, and because the freaking Sony A7 series cameras don't have a flip out screen, I can't see myself on a flip out screen. I've got an external monitor, but frankly right now I don't even have the external monitor plugged in. It's such a pain. It's a pain to use. Sometimes it's good to frame things up in, but I just shot some test shots and got it right, and now I've stepped in front of the camera and I'm delivering this message. So I'm hoping that one of two cameras solves this problem of making the difficulty of making it such a pain to deliver messages. I want a more seamless system where I have a few different options ready to go, batteries charged, and I can grab and go and deliver my message and do it the most friction-free way possible. There's no possibility of totally friction-free because this technology is nuts and these cameras are complicated, but as friction-free as possible. So I have two cameras on order right now. And what I'm going to do, it's really more for my own therapy than your knowledge, believe me, because there's not going to be a highly technical chronology of all this. But what I am going to do is do a chronology and kind of document this journey of my decision between those two cameras. One is the new camera, Canon EOS RP camera, and the other one is the Sony a6400. The Canon EOS RP camera is just announced today. It's a full frame camera like this one is right here. So it will be able to achieve this shallow depth of field that you see here, and it will have that full frame look. But Canon also cannibalizes their cameras and is known for this. There's this term in photography, cannibalizing, and they're known for doing that, and it has tons of features that have been cannibalized. So I'm just gonna see how it goes. I've got a 35 millimeter f1.8 lens ordered with it. I may get some other glass adapted to it, but that's gonna be one option. And the other option is to stick with the Sony ecosystem and get the Sony a6400. Another small compact camera. This one is a crop sensor, an APS-C sensor. It will not, for the most part, it won't be able to achieve the kind of shallow depth of field that a full frame camera like this will be able to achieve. And I'm a real sucker for shallow depth of field and really pretty bokeh, blurry background. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be able to cut it for me, but I'm gonna give it a try. And I'm gonna look at kind of pluses and minuses of each. And then I'm gonna return the one that is, that less, you know, I'm gonna keep the one that checks most of the boxes for me. And I've ordered them both from Adorama, and I'm a member of their yearly kind of VIP program, so I've got a full 60 days to try them out. They both ship at the end of the month, and so I'll be receiving those and trying them out side by side, and I'm gonna really I want to live with them for a while and give them a really good honest try. So one of the things that I'm going to assess is the, as I've used before, the sort of the frictionlessness of them. But I'm also going to really take into consideration that neither one of them is going to be a total Swiss Army knife of cameras. None of them are. Different cameras, different uses. This right here is an old Leica M6 vintage film camera. It still works great. I've shot film in this in Colorado and taken glorious, beautiful, beautiful shots. Of course, this is about as slow of a process as you can get. It's film, so after you take the shots, you've got to get the film developed and then, you know, and scanned in and then brought into Lightroom, etc. So it's a long process, and not only that, but the actual shooting of the images is a very, very long process. I have to manually choose my aperture, and I have to manually choose my shutter speed. I have to set my ISO, remember to set my ISO when I put the film inside the camera. And when I'm taking a shot, I've got to adjust my shutter speed and my aperture so that the exposure is right. And there's a little tiny little light inside there that tells me when my exposure is dead on. So that's a use and a look and a feel for this beautiful camera, this amazing work of art, really. Then there's something like this right here that we all have in our pocket. This is a little modification done on my iPhone 10. I just recently did a video. Please check it out if you haven't already. It's Life According to Laura. It's my sister who's mentally challenged, and she is just an amazingly beautiful, wonderful, sweet, sensitive person, and she's always had the just some of the most loving and unique outlooks on life. So I'm going to do a series on her Life with Laura. So we went out to the dog park a couple weekends ago, and this is the setup that I chose to use for that.
We can tell a dog or a cat wherever we feel, and they don't argue, and they listen to you very, very carefully. And sometimes they give you a lick after you tell them.
That's true, yeah. It's the iPhone 10, and it has this little bitty Rode video mic plugged directly into the side, and this moment lens So this converts it into an 18 millimeter field of view. So I used this vlogging style, sitting there with Laura, asking her questions with both of us like so. And notice that when I was shooting like this, I didn't have any kind of a selfie screen. You know, the difference, there's a dramatic difference between this little dinky little camera right here that enables you to see yourself and the camera on the back. So while a phone is good for shooting video,
I love you too. Yes, I do. I'm Laura. Hi.
the selfie nature of the video here, it's a really poor quality. That the kind of video on that side, it's not like the 4K video that you get out of this side. And then take the right camera for the right use idea here. Well, this is my GoPro Hero 7 Black that I got for Christmas. And I've been using the heck out of this. I clip this onto the top of my camera. These are the most popular videos that I do. I like that, you looking out that way. Yeah. Hold that right there, Drew. Of clipping them onto the top of my camera, let's say the Sony right here, and then doing, hello. I don't have the cage on it right now. I'm trying, to tell you the truth, I'm trying out this new concept of just grabbing and going without the cage and just going around like this. I mean, this right here can fit right in my pocket, and boom, put it in my pocket, pull it out of my pocket, and go. So, speaking of that, how would you like to go on a little journey with me upstairs? And I want to show you something that I'm hoping that's really going to help this this grab and go thing, and taking the friction out of the barriers between me and quickly making content. Let's go upstairs and I'll show you something. So, have you seen some of these Marie Kondo videos on YouTube? I mean on Netflix? Well, Marie Kondo has gotten to me, and I've been doing some serious organization. And this, my friends, is the result. This is my studio up here. And so it looks like a bomb's gone off in my studio because I have taken tons and tons of stuff out of my office and put them out here, and I'm slowly adding back in. So this is my office here in Austin. And this right here that's my wife, Sandra. Say hi to Sandra. This right here is the closet where I keep my gear. And so as you can see, I have lenses. That's where I keep my body right there, my camera body. Boxes over here. They're going to be more and more boxes as I start bringing them back in. And then I got rid of so many boxes that, voila, this shelf came available. And I realized that I could keep these mini tripods here. This is where I'll put my new video-centric camera. And I could keep these here, charged up, ready to go. My phone, at least, I'll have, I won't keep my phone here, but I'll have these accessories right here next to it, so that when I'm ready to go shoot something, And howdy. When I'm ready to go shoot something that it's ready to roll. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you there. Hey, I'll show you a couple of photos. This, I told you about that Thorsten Overgaard workshop. This is a photo that I shot in front of the Ace Hotel. These supermodels happen to be hanging out up there. I love this one. Oh, no, 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 don't take the shot. Here's a shot. This is one of my favorite shots I've done of a vaquero down in the Rio Grande Valley where I'm from, down in deep South Texas. All right, so back down. Back down. Back down here, and as I go over here and finish the GoPro part of this, and I'm back in front of this camera. Now I have to decide what I'm gonna say to perfectly seal this video and to finish this up, like all these people that I admire on YouTube. I hope, and in fact, I hope this camera's still rolling. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. This is gonna be a multi-week journey here of assessing these cameras. They're probably not gonna be here for 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm gonna make a commitment right here with you. And I'm really nervous in my gut about this because it's gonna be very hard to keep. And I may keep it or I may fall off the wagon. But I told you about these barriers to doing it, these things that I do that are essentially avoidance behavior. And by the way, I've done a video or 2 on avoidance behavior. So I want to try an experiment that I'm hoping will help me with that avoidance behavior. So many times, instead of me getting out there on the streets and connecting with people and doing my street portraits and my street photography, creating videos like this, so many times instead of doing that, I'll sit around watching YouTube videos. I think that there's something that our brain seeks, and we have these hopes and dreams and creative inspiration, and we can like watch others doing their hopes and dreams and creative inspiration, and somehow it tricks our mind. Maybe there's a little endorphin pump or something, and it tricks our mind into thinking that we're doing it. But in reality, there's something shallow at the other end of it. And in all seriousness, in regards to these 2 cameras that I'm talking about, the Sony a6400 and this new Canon EOS RP camera, there is a flurry of negativity about each camera. These camera communities that I go to online are just merciless, and people tear each other up in forums and criticize and nitpick and whatever. It's very toxic. It's especially toxic for me with the obsessive mind that I have. So I'm going to do my very best over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be gentle with myself. I know I probably won't be perfect at it, but I'm going to do my very best over the next couple weeks of letting those people go at it online, tear these cameras apart, and then when it comes to that shipment that comes through the door of those cameras, I'm just going to try it out myself. And I'm going to, instead of using all of this to figure it out up here, I'm going to really be listening and feeling what my body says about it. What is my gut saying about it? Is this a tool that helps me create, helps the creative process be a little more seamless? Or is this a tool that is frustrating and kind of keeps me more up in my head? So join with me in the journey. Another thing that I'm really resolute about is that I'm not going to sit around on my hands between now and then and not make content. That's going to be really important. I'm really looking to step up my game and put more content out there and grow this channel and these videos on all social media outlets. And it would be real easy for me to think that, oh, well, I've got to have that new equipment in order to make a new video, so I'm going to do my very best not to do that. Anyway, I don't ask this very often, but if you haven't already, please subscribe to see more of these videos. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, and also in the comments below, please let me know how did you find out about me, and why do you watch these videos? Do you kind of come in from the the camera world and having found out about me through Sony or Leica or sort of camera things, or is it mental health related things, or are we related or whatever? So anyway, thanks so much for watching today, and just remember that your story matters.